doing this video because I kind of just had a realization as the things happening to us are kind of reaching ahead now. They're how could I put this without people mistaking or misinterpreting what I'm saying or misunderstanding it. Things are getting to a very point, very a very, well, I hate to use the word even explosive, a very destructive point. I don't know, it's the best way I can describe it, but every single aspect, speaking financially, the people who are organizing against us, it's not the whole world. I know that. And I'm sure, there's people out there who have no idea. They're even from the city that we're from. Actually, not city, that would be the township we're from. And they have no idea what I'm talking about. It's just a few families that are using their organizations, their agencies, apparently their churches, and their connections with their parachurch groups to organize against us. I don't know why they would, why people would organize and try to hurt my daughter, but I see it, quite frequently, people targeting her just to make her upset or to stress her out or to make her have a panic attack, or even to hurt her. The past 8 years, at least twice, she, when we had a car, before our current apartment place, the residents destroyed my car with no reason. I'm not a bad person. I don't have a record. I don't go around hurting people. I'm just a veteran. I didn't get in trouble in the military. I'm not saying I was an angel, but I didn't get in any serious trouble. Generally, if I did get in trouble, it was related to, my sticking to religious observance. That's about it. But I don't know why they would organize against a child. But things are kind of reaching ahead, getting pretty bad. And we're dealing with the VA. Every time I turn around, there's some way that VA is either ignoring me or playing voicemail tag or just not replying at all, or trying to interfere in medical exams, or to put referrals on somebody's desk so the 2 weeks runs out. All kinds of stuff. And they know that they're my only medical care. So now people from the call center, apparently I got a phone call. I don't know if it's true or if it's fraud, but apparently now people are messing with us at our insurance company. I know that the call center I worked at has those contracts. They also used to have Blue Cross, but still, this stuff has to stop at some point. We live in a democracy with a system of laws in place. Otherwise, we're nothing at all. People might as well do whatever they want to anyone. But apparently they're trying to screw with our insurance now too. They already have, making me pay ambulance bills when I'm not supposed to pay them. I have regular insurance, plus if it's VA related, I have VA insurance. People are trying to interfere in that, so I get bills for the ambulance. Oh, yeah, and then they send them to collections. But anyway, that's the main focus of this video was the fact that things are reaching ahead. We've gone through a lot of the steps that the devil uses to hurt people. We've went through where the devil sends his demons and the people that serve him. There's a lot of people, sometimes even believers, who don't serve God. They serve the devil. It's like they always say, heard many people say, well, the devil can quote scripture too. Where's the devil going to go to learn how to do that? He's going to have assets in churches and synagogues and shuls and mosques. Wherever, but specifically speaking about Christians in churches, temples, synagogues, prayer houses. He's going to have people in there. But we've went through obsession. We are still in the oppression phase. I'm just wondering if we will go into the phase where the devil tries to possess us. It's obvious all the stuff the past 8 years. It's obvious the devil is using very evil people to target my family. I used to, back in the day, I knew a couple of priests that if they walked into the room, these were very holy men. They walked into the room. Actually, I know about 3 priests. Oh, actually, I take it back. I forgot. From a long, long time ago, when I went to Charismatic Mass at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which, is now a place of protection. And it has its own ministry. But they no longer have Charismatic Mass there. But it's now a place, it's a ministry there. They protect people that are poor, they help them get money, etc., etc. Actually, it's not them anymore. The building was, the altar was removed. It was, I forget the word they use. It was, there's a word they use in Catholic and Orthodox architecture for desacramentized. I forget. And they removed all the relics from the altar. But anyway, so they no longer do charismatic mass there anymore. Part of the building is shut off. The ministry is no longer there. I don't even know if it's Catholic anymore. I don't think it is. It's I think it's something completely different now. But anyway, some of the priests there, Capuchins, friends of Father Solanus Casey. They used to have priests come up from Detroit. They, a couple of them were active in the Hispanic ministry. But some of these men, they knew Saint Father Solanus Casey. But other than that, when I was undergrad, I knew some other priests, who when they walk into the room, you can just feel the shift in the energy in the room. One priest is very particular. I learned that chanting a Chaplet of Divine Mercy, but other than that, he just wants things done correctly. At first I was like kind of shaking in my shoes. This is a very holy priest, and I loved him. He's a very good man. He saved a lot of souls, brought a lot of people to salvation. Him and some other guys that were in this fraternity, when they would walk into the room, the energy in the room would change. Very holy men. But I haven't, I don't really know any priests around here. Just coming back the past few years, even the first couple of years we came back, some of those priests are now gone. Then when they had the attack on about 5 priests, and I think they've all, one of them, I think he went to jail. And the other four, they probably moved. There was nothing, their names were ruined. So I think that they left. I don't know the specifics about the cases, but I know that there was nothing prosecutable, there was nothing of merit. So I don't know if they were nolle prosecu or not, but um, they were probably moved because their names would have been ruined. But the devil is really after us. He uses people to attack us in so many ways, and he tries to, make us have unnatural doubt, us to, fall into sin, us to, be angry and, blame God, us to doubt the direction we're going. I mean, anything, make us to have a lapse in prayer, anything he can to destroy us. So we're nearing other phases of demonic attack. I wish I knew more priests, but I don't. Not here. But it's obvious that the devil is using as many people as he can to target my children and I. So as for prayers, and no amateur exorcists or anything like that. We're not in bondage. Certainly, yes, the devil is trying to, tempt us to fall into sin, trying to tempt us to doubt, trying to, convince us to go back into old patterns or old approaches to faith or old approaches to behavior or old criticisms of, of faith and spirituality. But thankfully, we're more mature now, and, God has shown us these things. But just know, people out there, especially other veterans, that when you're targeted like us, if you pay attention to this channel, if you're targeted like us, there may be a spiritual aspect of this as well. Especially, if you can't figure out what's happened, you're, people are going after you like you abandon your kids when you're still talking to them, or like you were mean to your wife and you were a monster to your wife or your husband, but you're divorced but still or annulled, but you're still amicable. Your relationship is still amicable. Or like you're lazy and you just take from people when you're like you have your own business. You're just in a slump. Or somebody's like trying to make it look like you're Me Too'd, or your time's up when you're like, I've always been respectful of people where I've worked. People can be very clever. And some of these things, it could just be maybe you messed up somewhere. But if there's nothing there legally, there's no investigation, there's no subpoena, there's no warrant, there's no, we need you to come and talk to us. There's none of that. Then, somebody may be trying to make it look like those things. And some of these people that we've encountered, especially with these extremist groups, they will try everything. I kid you not. They will try everything they can. Trying to convince people you're this or that. Trying to convince people you're on the run from police. You're on a warrant. So all kinds of, you're a registered offender. You're, you owe people money and you signed a contract and you have to pay, anything they can. Oh, you abandoned your kids and your kids were adopted out, or, they will try anything to radicalize people against you. And keep in mind, when people are doing that, I mean, even if people are angry because you did, in your past you did do something, there's an element of anger there, but there's not as much, there's pain involved in there. And yeah, the devil can use that, but it's not as much involving with demonic attacks. But it can be, but it's much more when people are trying to do everything they can to destroy your life. That, the devil uses that. And so there's a spiritual aspect. If your situation is like mine, you look back in your past, you've talked to police, you've talked to your ex, you've talked our exes, you've talked to your children, you're just digging for this stuff. You look in your record with your courts, you're like, no, there's nothing there. You do a criminal background check. You talk to people you've known throughout the years, and there's nothing there. Then, yeah, somebody is trying to destroy you. They're trying to break every single thing that you hold dear. That's the devil. We have a system of justice in place in this country. We have a system of complaints regarding, social issues. We have a system of balance regarding civil suits. We have a system in place. When people operate outside of that system, that's the devil. And, extremist groups can be very clever. We've encountered some racial extremist groups that I didn't know until I encountered them here. I'm finding that some of these people, that they try to paint them as spouse abusers, child abusers, child predators. They try to paint people like this, but they're not. I know of at least 2 people that I've background checked based on, things that the community said, specifically people from this racial extremist community, and it's not true. It's lies. Matter of fact, at least 2 of those people, there's like 2 or 3, 2 of those people, the things they did to them is even worse because it's based on somebody with the same name, but is not them. If you look at somebody's face, their ID, their birthday, you're like, whoa, this is not them. They don't care. Racism is one of the most destructive things in our democracy. And the problem is it's tolerated. And and we go with people sometimes hold to the myth that there's no racism from non-white communities. Oh, yes, there is. And you're coming from somebody, I'm biracial. Actually, if you want to really break it down ethnically, I'm triracial, if you want to really break it down. Because Manchurians and Mongolians are not the same group. Manchurians are more related to Han Chinese. Mongolians are more related to more North Asian and Tungic speaking peoples. So if you want to break it down, I'm triracial. Samantha Randall. Some kids found her body. But you'll find that any ethnic community can have a racial exclusivist attitude, as opposed to a racial inclusivist or racial neutrality. Race does not define culture. When people put those 2 together, it's wrong. What most defines culture is proximity. Are you part Native American, but did you grow up with a tribe? No. You encountered them later. Is it the tribe of your ancestry? No, actually, it's a different one. Again, race and culture are not always bound together, and neither is cultural identity. If you are Hopi, but you identify because you spent a lot of time with Anishinaabeg, with Ojibwe, you're talking about, many differences, many. Or if you're African American that grew up in Cajun New Orleans, Creole New Orleans, but actually your mom and dad are from Jamaica, or they're from Haiti. Well, that's a bad example. They're from Jamaica or Antigua. It's different. It's not the same. Anyway, it's not my topic of this. My topic for this video is something different. But it was about the, demonic attacks, and, they will keep going, and people, sometimes you just need a priest or other, exorcist, somebody to come and drive away some of these demonic attacks. If the spiritual stronghold is broken, then theoretically some of these evil people that are attracted to, target you and to hurt you and your family, theoretically, they would dissipate, at least for a while. So, I hope that if people are targeted like us, it's coming, into a spiritual dimension, that you would find your resources to help. I know I'm trying. Even as people organizing against me try to alienate me from my own religious community. Another thing, if people violate privacy, don't hesitate to out them. If you're apartment manager, or you're the person that owns where you live, or you're the owner, then go to your township or your city or the police. If people are, crossing boundaries, like recording you in your apartment, or moving in next to you, and then putting stuff in social media about you like they're the expert. And if people are following you to the grocery store, or people are, when you pull into a park, all of a sudden you see 2 or 3 cars, you're like, wait a minute, I saw you at here, and here today. Why are you bothering us? Hey, are you threatening me? Use whatever resources you can, folks. Don't let evil win.
You've registered for shop class.